There's no doubt about it. I mean, we're a school, 75 years going on that we've been here, and so, you got your 3rd and 4th generation Creekers. A lot of people, they don't ever leave. Their families are still here. I think like 18% of our faculty went here, and we have a lot of coaches like that too. We keep those ties strong, and we keep doing things within the community, then people wanna come here. In today's day and age, with kids being able to choice and go to schools and stuff like that, we can't do that. We're a closed school. So if you don't live on our borders, you can't get in. But the state is an open enrollment state. So you're fighting to keep your own kids.
Welcome back to Building a Champion, the podcast where we highlight the programs and people shaping the future of athletics. I'm Jordan, joined by my co-host Jeff. Today we are heading to Greenwood Village, Colorado, home of Cherry Creek High School, which was just named the nation's top high school athletic program after capturing the 2024-25 MaxPreps Cup. Joining us today is the man leading this powerhouse, athletic director Jason Wilkins. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
We are so glad to have you here. The Bruins claimed an unbelievable 9 state championships last year, 2 runner-up finishes, multiple national rankings in the single school year. Very impressive. You guys earned that title of best athletic program in the country for the first time in Colorado history. We are so glad to have you on here with us.
Well, I'm excited to be here. It obviously was a big year for us, and it's obviously brought some attention to the school, and some people would suggest we didn't need any more attention, but we like it.
Geez, I mean, that is incredible. I mean, the 9 state championships alone, but also the history of all your programs. Just can't wait to hear about it and the background of how it's developed into what you have now.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's start with that big one, being named the nation's top athletic program by MaxPreps. What did it mean for you, your athletes, and your community to take home that title for the first time in Colorado history?
Well, I think, obviously, we were very excited, very appreciative. We're not naive to, kinda what was going on because we were in first place, after the fall and after the winter, and then we typically have, some strong spring programs as well, and we knew that we had a couple that had a really good shot to, win the state, and then, we did win several in the spring, and so I kinda thought, we might win this year, but then, kinda June came and went, and July was almost over, and we're getting ready for the next school year, and I kinda thought, "Oh, maybe they don't really do much at the end, I don't know." And, I was actually with the ADs at the state association. We were doing a fundraiser, we were golfing, and, somebody sent me the screenshot from the website to my phone. I didn't even know yet, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." I showed a couple of the other ADs from other schools, and they're like, "Oh, that's just what we need."
So you don't
Uh,
even get a call before it comes out. It's just published and there it is.
no, yeah, that's right, and, after we found out, I don't know if you guys know this, but each state kinda has a MaxPreps rep in the state that represents MaxPreps in the state. So I reached out to ours and said, "Hey, what's going on with this?" Does more come with this, or what's kind of the deal here? And, he filled me in on some things, and, kinda went from there, but yeah, it was kind of a shock. I mean, I don't think it helped my golf game at all. I think I was too excited, so,
I'm sure there was a
uh,
little bit of celebrating done out there on the course.
yeah, we were excited.
Jason, one thing you kind of touched on it when you talked about nobody, people may have thought you didn't need any extra attention, so with building this success and what you got going on in the history, I mean, how do you handle that balance of the success and the positive, and then in the world we live in today, the negatives that come with that from the outside of the inner circle? Can you, talk a little bit about that and how you balance it with your coaches and your departments?
Sure. So, this is a school that has, really high expectations in basically every category, academics, the arts, all the way down, right? and athletics is no any different. And so we know that we're going to have our target kind of on our back. We're the game circled on most people's calendar. People make shirts that say Beat Creek, and wear them to the games. And you can imagine how social media goes today.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so we know that going in. So we have pretty extensive conversations about that at the coaches meetings before the year even starts. Like, not only do you have high expectations and we need to develop our student athletes and all of these things that go with being a high school, model. Obviously, we're not the collegiate model, we're high school model. So we have a lot of other things that we're trying to do other than win. And oh, by the way, do everything right because everyone's trying to find you doing something wrong so that they can play the we got you game. And so we had those conversations with our teams and how we handle ourselves in terms of traveling in cars or on buses to games and picking up trash afterwards and leaving the stadium or the court and all of the different things that have to be done correctly. And I think that helps build the culture of the program as a whole too, that we know we have that extra kind of bullseye on us, so we do these extra things correctly and pay attention to those details. I think it translates into things we're doing uh, competitively as well. And then we kind of do the same thing from an administrative point of view. We try to take on leadership roles within the state. I'm on the state AD board. I've been the president of that association previously, to be involved, learn, but also show people like we're not the big bad wolf. We're just normal people. I mean, the town I grew up in, I think you guys are maybe located in Nebraska. So I grew up in Iowa, and the town I grew up in is smaller than the school I work at. So, you know, uh, I don't have this big mentality about me being from a small farming community growing up. So, we kind of try to instill a lot of that on our coaches and our community here as well.
Well,
Excellent.
9 state championships in 1 year, remarkable number from football and field hockey to baseball, swimming, soccer, the list goes on and on. What stands out as some of the most memorable moments from that past season?
Um, there were several. I mean, you don't really win a state championship without having a memorable moment in any of the sports. But I mean, if you look at some of them, um, tennis, for example, where we had to kind of upset the last match in the duel to win. So you're not expected to win that, and then your athlete comes through and they win. So that's, you know, very exciting. Soccer, you score a goal in overtime, and it's a brother to brother pass right on the team. So that's really cool. Golf, you're looking at the leaderboard and we're in contention. We don't have any athlete. We didn't have anybody finish in the top 10, but we had our team combined had a good enough score to win. And we hadn't won golf in nearly 30 years. Oh, there's the bell for in between classes. Um, so, you know, I don't know. Football is always exciting. It's a big crowd. Obviously we have won that one a little more frequently. Same kind of thing with swimming. We definitely won those a little bit more frequently. I thought the baseball one was very exciting because it was our coach's first year after
Oh,
replacing a legend who had been there for 52 years
wow.
as
Jeez.
the head coach. And so it was really exciting to see him and the team win under new leadership. And then finally, our boys lacrosse team, they finished the year undefeated, one of the top ranked teams in the country, and um, beat a rival in the championship game. So, I mean, they're all pretty exciting.
Explain that atmosphere there with that overtime soccer goal. I
Oh, that was just
imagine it
awesome.
was
So we had
electric.
yeah, when we were playing a school, we were playing Broomfield actually. And so they're a really good soccer school all the time. And so they had a good crowd. We had a big crowd. And they played that where the Rapids play here. We played in their stadium. So it was a really cool
Wow.
environment. And the goal was amazing. Obviously, I was there on the sideline, and it was down on our end, and the brother has the ball in the middle, and he passes it out to his brother Cole, who was the player of the year in the state and probably our best player. He takes the shot, and I'm actually looking at the picture I have framed here in my office. and it goes in the upper right corner, and you can see the goalie with an all-out dive, and then the picture I have is the ball just by their hand. And then obviously that's a 2-1 final and sets off a huge celebration and everybody's fired up.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, because you get moments like that and everything, and it just keeps building and building to the success, and it gets wants to get kids want to get involved, parents want to get involved. So how do you create the balance with all the sports so you're not just focused on one or two that are the champions, but you're spreading it across the whole field, for lack of a better term.
Well, I mean, from so it's a good question. So we have several different things that we do. We try to have some sort of youth model in every sport that we have. So, um, we have youth nights, youth programs, all of those feeder type things coming in. Like homecoming week, we load up multiple buses full of band members, kids from all the sports, and we go to all the elementaries and middle schools that feed us, and we parade in the halls or outdoors with them and do fight songs and cheer and pom performs.
Nice.
So we get the little kids involved, going
Mm.
school to school. We do that every year. It's a great day. Um, so you have those kind of things, but then we also have, social media accounts for all of them. We have a broadcast network, which is a class here, and they make sure they do live coverage of every single program that we have, not just football on Friday nights, but they'll figure out how to do tennis or cross country and some of the ones that maybe are a little more challenging. Um, we have give back to the community or volunteer. Every program is required to do different things. And so they get involved in that way. And then Student Senate, one of the things that they do here at school, obviously, some of them are athletes, some of them are not, but we submit to them, like each program will submit 2 to 3 events, contests, games. They're the big ones. And Student Senate will kind of go through and make a chart of which ones they're going to push more and which ones they're going to require to attend. Like last night, I was at a soccer game and it was a Student Senate game of the week. And so there was a lot more kids there than normal, that kind of thing. So, I mean, a lot of the things are probably things that other schools do too. We just try to stay organized and get word out to our community. For example, this week is Spirit Night. So we'll do a party out in the courtyard with food trucks, a DJ, and things like that. And every program of the 29 is required to have a table set up with the coach and some of the athletes.
Wow.
We invite all the community, elementaries and middle schools. They come through starting from 5 to 6:45, and then the band and pom and cheers will play in the parking lot, and then everybody kind of files in for a football game. So, you just my philosophy is you kind of get it, you get out of it what you put in. And so we try to put in more work and do more things. And my whole thing is I believe that pays off.
Tons of community outreach, it sounds like. Do you think part of the key is getting kids interested and involved when they're really young and kind of having their
There's, there's no doubt
goals?
about it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, we're a school, it's 75 years going on that we've been here. And so, you got your third and fourth generation Creekers. And so a lot of people, they don't ever leave. Their families are still here. And so I think like 18% of our faculty went here. And
Wow.
so, and we have a lot of coaches like that too. And so we keep those ties strong and we keep doing things within the community. And then people want to come here. In today's day and age, um, with kids being able to choice and go to schools and stuff like that, we can't do that. We're a closed school. So if you don't live on our borders, you can't get in. But the state is an open enrollment state. So you're fighting to keep your own kids.
Yeah.
Well, and then that said, you're talking about the community stuff. How big of an impact do you think the community has? I mean, you say you talk about, kind of the legacy families and things of that nature. How big of a role does that play in your traditions and your consistency?
Well, it's huge. I think that's one of the focal points because they've gone through here. The people that have gone here and are still in the community, they know the expectation. They know what to expect. They know what works. They hold their kids accountable, their friends' kids accountable. The neighborhoods act like that. I mean, our neighborhoods haven't really, in terms of the borders, haven't really changed that much, and for a long time. I mean, back in the day, this was a farm school, right? There's pictures. Everybody used to ride their horses and tie them up. And we have the one room schoolhouse is still on campus, so the place has obviously evolved. Um, but the community piece is the whole key. I can sit there and go through and tell you which schools have great communities and which ones don't around the state. And I can also tell you which ones are successful academically and athletically and which ones aren't. And they coordinate pretty well. The correlation is strong.
And
Excellent.
Cherry Creek now owns 248, I believe, state championships all time. It's an
That's
incredible number.
that's the CHASA, which is our state. That's their number. We
Uh-huh.
actually and this was done before I was here, but we claim some more than that because there used to be like state lacrosse or state
Right.
different sports before it was sanctioned.
Mm.
And so just like a few years ago, um, flag football is a sanctioned sport in our state now. But like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a state tournament. The Broncos ran it, and all the schools played in it.
Okay.
But it wasn't sanctioned, so CHASA doesn't count that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of state titles. There's no doubt.
What's
And
the
what's kind
secret
of
sauce?
funny?
How are
There
you
might
getting
be there might be more seconds than firsts.
Man.
What's the secret sauce? How are you getting championship after championship?
Well, we can't give that away. Um, so that community piece, I think, is huge in having our kids involved in elementary, particularly in wearing the Cherry Creek logos and colors. I mean, because that's what they do. Their feeder teams are all our logos and colors, right? And so I think that's a huge deal. Kids want to grow up and they want to come here. Not just that though, but we have this youth stuff going on. So they're learning and developing and playing the sports and being involved at an early age, which allows them to develop and get better. And then the competition it's just really strong. And obviously kids from out of state, or even in state, but primarily out of state, when parents move for work or whatever, and they do their research online and look up, we tend to show up and then we get some quality people here. I don't know, we offer things year round, right? Like our school, if you come here on a weeknight, it's insane, right? It doesn't shut down. And there's like huge college fair going on, and there's a huge DECA event, and there's sports everywhere. And people are always just involved in doing things. That's just the way our school works. And not to knock other schools, but I don't know that all the other schools are doing those kind of things all the time. It's just an ongoing deal. I think a lot of it's organization. A lot of people have a lot of drive to send their kids here because our academics are challenging. And so if you're kind of not somebody that wants to be involved or not somebody that wants to work hard, this probably isn't going to be a good place for you. And then they're not here. Um, I don't know. I think we did a little research. Definitely over half our kids participated in a sport. And then we have almost 100 clubs here too. And so if you're not involved in something here, it's a very small number of people that are not. And just being involved with people and being around the kids and doing those kind of things, I just think it just continues to elevate.
How many students are enrolled there?
Yeah, it varies year to year. I'd say we're 3,900 is a good number.
Huge, huge school.
Yeah. So
So
4
now that
buildings, small campus, so they have to kinda go around and, the small college campus feel. They walk outside in longer passing periods and things like that.
now that you've been named the number one athletic program in the country, what's next? How do you keep building and make sure that bar keeps rising?
Well, I think we're always, fighting that every year. There's a lot of success every year, and if you look, there's certain programs that get first or second almost every year, then it doesn't change. And I think the reason it doesn't change is because there is that drive. There is that coach or coaching staffs that know what it takes, and you can't sit and rest on your laurels. That's how things go the wrong direction. Um, this place is kind of a destination school for teachers and coaches. They get here and they don't want to leave. I mentioned our baseball coach, 52 years as the head coach. That's a long time, but we have a lot of coaches that are here a long time. A lot of teachers that teach here a long time. And so they know what it takes, and they have that desire or that drive, and quite frankly, if a coach that's leading a program maybe doesn't have that, and that's where, my job becomes more crucial of to help them get that back or to help them decide that maybe we need to have somebody else there that has that.
When
Excellent.
you guys were going for the Max Preps title and you were keeping an eye on it throughout the year, were the athletes aware of kind of where you guys were standing as you moved along?
That's a good question. I would imagine they were to a certain degree, like, we weren't publicizing it or putting it on monitors. I think
Right.
there was probably a few social media posts about it and stuff that people probably realized, but, Max Preps is just such a known commodity for scores and recruiting and rankings and all the things. The kids are on there, they see, they're not, you know I know the old thing, coaches always say, "Don't look ahead past an opponent to the next one," and stuff like that. You can say it all you want, but their kids is a little different.
Uh,
Right. They're looking. Well, speaking of looking down the road, are there any goals, projects, opportunities that you're excited about for Cherry Creek Athletics here in the next year or so?
Well, it's funny. I mean, obviously, we're always trying to get better, and there's some sports maybe that haven't won that we're really trying to build up, and bring them to that forefront as well. But we're actually in the current process here, and it's gonna start this upcoming summer. They're tearing down the whole campus, and we're building an entire new one.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a massive project, and it's awesome, right? I just got there's been construction meetings going for the last 6 months, looking at things and going through that, and that's really exciting. And last week we had a big one because we're building one of our buildings is gonna be an athletics only building. So,
wow.
yeah, as you can imagine, that's kinda my building. And so, looking at locker rooms and gymnasiums and weight room and training room and all the things, it's been fun to design and go through and get to do it, and then we're gonna see it start to come to fruition here. And that's supposed to be open in '28, so that'll just be awesome, and that'll also lead to the people won't like that either on the outside.
Is it at the same space or you guys are like totally moving
No, it's the
property?
same space. There's actually a couple district buildings on campus, like the superintendent and the district AD and those kind of things are on our campus, and they're actually moving off campus and tearing those buildings down, and
Okay.
they'll start building there, and then some things like eventually the tennis courts, baseball fields, stuff like that will get moved as well, and
Wow.
so they're not tearing anything down until the new one's built. So there are some constraints, and I gotta imagine there'll be some parking problems.
Yeah.
Does sound like a headache for a little bit, but I'm sure the end result will be well worth it.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. We've got a fun game for you if you're ready to take it
Let's
on.
do it.
It's called Game Time Decisions. It's our rapid fire round. I'll ask you quick questions. You give your quick answers. You
Oh,
ready?
boy. Let's do
Most
it.
unforgettable moment from the championship year.
The soccer goal.
Most important on game day, preparation or energy?
Ooh. I think preparation.
What would you say is one word that describes Cherry Creek student athletes?
Excellent.
Mhm. What is your favorite game day tradition at Cherry Creek?
Depends on the sport, but I really like the band.
Oh, what do they do?
When they march into the stadium and then they play the national anthem and they march over to their seats in the stand and stuff like that. I just the band makes the atmosphere in my opinion.
I'd agree with that. What is your or which Cherry Creek sport has the rowdiest fans?
Whew. Are we talking about kids or adults?
Either or, your pick.
It's interesting. That's an interesting comment because if it's based on the year, it's sometimes, but I
Yeah.
can go through and tell you the nuances between the sport and the correlation. Um, but you can get some rowdy soccer fans. Part of that is the officials play into some of that. Soccer officials are an interesting deal. Um, but you can certainly basketball is always, in my opinion, the toughest one because basketball, you're in the gym and everybody can see and hear everything. The ones outside, you can get around some things. Somebody says there does something wrong in the gym, there's no getting around that.
Very true. What's the best environment? Friday night football, packed gym, or the state swim finals?
Ooh. So the state swim finals is amazing. We have it at this place called the VMAC. The only thing I don't like about that is it's too crowded and there's so many different schools and people there. It's not just us, but that environment is really, really cool. Just like if you've been to like state cheer or Palms finals, that environment is really cool. State wrestling, some would argue, is the coolest because all 5 classes are in the arena downtown. But if you're comparing like a packed basketball or volleyball game versus a Friday night football game, the football game crowd is unbelievable and all the things that go with it are the coolest. But I'm a basketball coach at heart.
There you go. Takes it every time then for you.
Yep.
One leadership lesson that you hope every Cherry Creek athlete takes with them post graduation.
One leadership lesson would be to figure out how to make somebody else's day better.
I like that. If you could lock in one more state title this upcoming year, which team gets it?
Ooh. I get to pick any sport and pick a state title champion. And it has to be realistic.
It could be anything you want.
um, obviously, I always want the basketball teams to win because I'm a basketball coach, so I'm not gonna pick that on purpose. But I'd really like to see the cheer and palm teams win this year. Would probably be my top choices because they, in my opinion, are the hardest 2 working teams and programs in the school with the amount of time they practice and support others. It's gotta be cheer and palms.
You don't hear that recognition very often. I like that. I've got 2 little dancers, so they'll love to listen to that.
I mean, Jason, that's good stuff there. I mean, you hit home with me. I'm a basketball homer too. I live, eat, and sleep basketball. It's great stuff. But you handled the questions like a champ.
Thanks, appreciate it.
This has been a fantastic conversation. Congratulations again to you, your coaches, and your athletes on being named the nation's top athletic program. It is a testament to years of hard work, tradition, and cultural culminated into one.
Well, I appreciate it. It's fun talking with you guys. When you're as an AD for this long and you're in it all the time, it's fun talking to other people about what you do. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I can't wait for that conference in Breckenridge, to hear how you set the standard and listen to people have to hear more about you, whether they want to or not. So I'm
They're
looking
not, they're
forward to
not gonna
that.
like that. I can promise you that one, Jeff.
Well, we appreciate it. And that is going to wrap up this episode of Building a Champion. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who loves great sports stories. Until next time, keep striving, keep growing, and keep building champions.